Good evening, I'm Providence Councilwoman Joanne Ryan. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Committee on Finance on today is Tuesday, September 30, 2025. It is past 5:30. Madam Clerk, would you kindly read the roll?
Chairwoman Ryan.
Present.
Vice Chairman Wheeler is absent. Councilor Angela. Present. Councilwoman Graves.
Present.
Councilor Sanchez.
Present.
We have 4 present and 1 absent. We have 4.
Okay, let us recognize that we are joined by Kenny Solicitor Ken Cheverini. Thank you very much. And before we start this meeting, I would also like to formally extend a happy birthday recognition to Mike Napolitano, who happens to be seated back in the room.
21. Congratulations, you can drink.
You're very welcome. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Okay, Madam Clerk, could you kindly read item 1 into the record?
Resolution authorizing approval of the following encumbrance contract award by the Board of Contract and Supply in accordance with section 21(26)(b)(2) of the Code of Ordinances, Delta Electric Power and $50,000, Department of Public Works.
Okay, let us also recognize that Chairman Vargas is also with us. Thank you. Okay, who do we have to present?
Good evening.
Good evening. Could you please-
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear the council prayer that the testimony you're about to believe is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Please say your name and tell it for the record.
Patricia Coyne Fay, Director of the Providence Department of Public Works.
Okay,
Thank you, Madam Chair.
could you please talk about this item?
Sure.
Tell us what it's all about.
Sure, this is a contract award, approved by the VOCS for Delta Electro Power, and that is the company that bid, on the, RFP to service the fountains that are currently, administered at the Department of Public Works. So it's the Deepest Well Fountain, the Longo Fountain, and the fountain at Holy Ghost Church.
Madam Auditor, you have a question?
It's not, I just want clarification, this did not go out to bid, this isn't, this was a letter of communication requested an encumbrance.
Oh, I'm
This
sorry.
was not bid.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for that clarification.
We do plan to go out to, for RFP in December, to give us more time. Frankly, this is the only company that's been willing to service the fountains. It's mainly the deepest Boston.
So it's a sole source provider.
It's not. We want to go out to RFP in December to see if anyone else is interested, but it's a difficult, field, I guess.
Okay. Committee members, any questions, concerns? Yes, Councilor Angelo.
Thank you for being here, Director.
Sure.
2 quick questions. One is, if we're gonna go out to RFP in December, why not just include these in that RFP? Was there like a time sensitive
Oh,
situation?
because it always needs work, it needs servicing, and this time of year, sometime right after Columbus Day, the feast of Columbus Day, that's winterized, it has to be shut down in a certain way. I'm talking about the deepest well.
Yeah.
That's like the big one. And so we need the services before the RFP will be released.
Okay. And then, do you ever partner with the Parks Department? Cause I know some of their staff just went through a fountain training. They fixed the fountain in the big park themselves. They did some sort of fountain specific training.
It's kind of a weird history.
Yeah.
Apparently it predates me on how DPW, ended up servicing the fountain.
Yeah,
Our sewer department.
yeah.
I don't know if they confer with Parks, but it has been DPW that has been maintaining it, and now thankfully we have a company that's willing to do that, and it's through DPW. But Parks doesn't service the fountains.
Okay. I know it's like new knowledge that they have, because the Olympic Park one was also broken for like years, and they couldn't find anyone who was willing to service it, which is what I'm hearing you say about some of these, and then they had to teach themselves how to like service the fountains, so there's some knowledge somewhere in the city on some of that, just to say that. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Councilor Grace, did you have a question?
Thank you.
Please.
Still trying to get my voice back. I know, this, how has this been is selected, and now we're going over, is what we're doing on this, right?
I'm sorry, who's,
How,
I know, I'm making you.
no, I'm sorry, it's my voice. So are we going over, is that the thing for this vendor? For 7 months and 8 months?
I'm actually.
Oh, you're looking at.
Oh, I'm at the wrong.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'm Delta.
Okay, cause that's
Just
like,
the wrong section of the packet. I-
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
no,
You're all set, Councilman? Councilman Sanchez.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Director, for being here. So just to confirm, this company is the first one, at least in our term, that the city has hired to do this type of work.
We're basically the only ones that have expressed an interest in doing it. We put a lot of feelers out. We tried to get people to take this over because our sewer department workers are not really counted
Right.
trained. And so this company is actually very good to work with, they're very liable. Another company who, that does this kind of work is, not local. This is a local company, so and that's important because if the thing breaks, and again, I'm only talking about it as well, if it breaks, we usually can't wait a week for somebody to come out and take a look at it. So they've been very responsive.
So I guess my only question is, like, what's the public communication been like, where we get that information of not knowing really any other companies if, from my understanding, we haven't put a RFP out.
mhm,
Yeah, do you want to say?
I'm sorry.
mhm.
Please swear everyone.
Just like your right hand, you saw the council perjury that the person I got was speak with the whole thing, but the truth.
Okay.
Will you please say your name and say it for the record?
So Sarah Solari, Finance Director. So it is my understanding, and the director can correct me if I'm wrong, is that we have gone out to bid for this service and we haven't gotten any responses. Including the current person that we're trying to use to fix the vendor. So it's not for lack of trying to get someone, it's just such an old bound that a lot of people don't have that skill set to make those repairs.
So then it qualifies as a sole source?
I mean, I think we wanna try, the one thing I have heard is that there could be interest in a smaller company only wanting to service one of the fountains, not the big one. And so I think the RFP will hopefully give us an opportunity to look at that as an option. If we put it all out there, maybe if we make it the kind of thing where companies could bid on part of it, then maybe that will bring in another company. And so that's the intention right now.
So what I've understood about this project is it's time sensitive. They're concerned about the cold weather hitting
Right.
quickly and causing grief. It is an old sensitive fountain. It's up on Federal Hill, deepest well square. So that's the sensitivity and that's the urgency behind all of this.
Yes.
So is it just for, I'm sorry,
Councilwoman Graves.
so is it just for this one that we're referring to, because if there's three?
I believe there's two, not
There's
two, right?
three.
Oh, there's three fountains.
But this one is the main.
Deepest well is the biggest one, it's the oldest one. and most
It's got
complicated.
lights, it's right there smack dab in the center, it's a focal point for a lot of the celebrations that go on there. And so
And,
Please.
and, they didn't respond either, so how do you know that? You said that they didn't respond either, for when you put the bids out?
You mean Delta?
I thought earlier that you just said, you put out bidding and
No, we didn't have it.
from them either, so. How do we know they wanna do it? We got no response.
I will say that the head of our sewer division has a very good relationship with them, and Delta has been very responsive, so. I don't know the intricacies of what their interest is in the three fountains, perhaps they're only interested in doing one of the big fountain. But I do know that I believe some of this money is for work, may have already happened.
Okay,
So, you know what I mean? So like, they're very responsive when we get in a jam with that, and our people don't have the expertise, they're very good about it. Whether they wanna do it long term, I think maybe they just wanna see what it really is.
So is this one of these? things-
Councilwoman Graves.
I'm sorry, I'm.
It's okay.
So I have maybe two. Okay. Is this one of the ops that are dying? Is this something that we should be looking into, or how we're gonna go on from here if we're not getting responses and these things are so old?
Yes.
Is this where we are at this point?
Unfortunately, I'm starting to think so. I know that a lot of what our superintendent of the sewer division has done with this fountain has been almost self-taught. But that's, you know, it's not sustained, and it's not really his job. And so I think, you know, God forbid we get no interest, no local companies, no ability to have anyone do this work. We'll have to pivot, figure out, okay, is there training, are there additional staff I can bring in? You know, maybe I'll be back there asking for staff to fill this role and have to get them the training that you referenced, Councilwoman. I'm not sure.
So I can offer some perspective. I remember looking at the expenses for rebuilding this fountain many years ago, a few years ago. And we put aside like 250, almost 300, how much? It was a lot of money. Gina's recollection is 450. But we thought we were gonna have to rebuild that whole thing, and we put money aside. It was was it CIC? CIP back then. And the Parks Department, to Councilman Angel's point, rose to the occasion with help from the sewer department. And they worked their magic, but it was really, you know, they worked very, very diligently to get it functioning. And it was, subject to the cold weather, the sensitivity of the weather is always important. And it needs work right now, so I do think we need to look at a long-term, plan for this. But, you know, it's on the hill, we have been asked, basically for special help here, is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
These folks have the capacity to manage this, repair project. And I think we need, as a finance team, need to look, at a better long-term solution. But it's going to be very, very expensive. So if $50,000 gets this project functioning and working and winterized through the season, and time is of the essence, it's my recommendation that we move it forward. Does anybody have any, Councilman Wallace?
Thank you, Pancha. So these $50,000 is only to winterize these quantum, the three of those, or just one?
No, I think it's more than that. I think it's for some work that I believe they've already done and received. It is for winterizing, and it's so that they will continue to be done to do to get us to the point where hopefully when the RFP is released and we get hopefully bids on it, it'll carry us to that.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
In the RP, can you please include the rest of the fountains that we
Yes.
have now that you get an extra responsibility on your department?
Yes, but as I said, I think that, there may be a way to craft the RFP so that if someone wanted to bid just on servicing one or the two smaller ones rather than the big one, or just the big one, that they could do that. We want to try to cast as wide a net as we can.
You good, Councilman?
Thank you.
I just want to reiterate, I don't think anybody's happy about the position that we're in, but we want the fountain repaired to the best of our ability, and we want it winterized. So, I mean, I think we need to kind of move forward here, but I think we're sending a message from what I've heard from my finance committee, as well as Chairman Vargas. We'd like a long-term plan, so that we can be spending our money in an appropriate fashion, a more appropriate fashion. But we all know the value of these fountains, the one particular, is extremely important, and we need to get it taken care of. With that, may I have a motion?
Motion to approve item number one.
Motion made by Councilman Sinkis, seconded by Councilwoman Anderson. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. The matter passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nancy.
Okay. All right. Madam Clerk, could you kindly read item 2 into the record?
Resolution authorizing approval of the following contract award by the Board of Contract and Supply in accordance with section 21 through 26 B2 of the Code of Ordinances. Able Industrial Suite Leases, $64,312.50, Department of Public Works.
Okay, so we have same people. Okay, please tell us what you have, tell me about this one.
City had a contract with Able Industrial Sweeping for street sweeping, and that contract was up in July. This is the part where I fall on my sword, unbeknownst to me. Despite the fact that the contract had expired and a new contract had not yet been awarded, he kept sweeping, and we let him. And so when I became aware of that, I put a stop to it because I knew we didn't have an actual in-place contract for it. And I was uncomfortable as an attorney with that liability that represented. That said, he swept and needs to be paid for the sweeping that we did. And so that's what this is.
Is there a contract in place? I'm sorry.
There is now, yes,
Okay. So there's a contract in place now.
yes.
On. All right. Committee members, anybody who has questions?
That was my question. I've
Okay,
already done that, so, yeah.
Yes.
you good? Oh, we have a
I have
question.
one question.
Councilman Sanchez.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Director, again. What has changed, in your process? So something like this or any other contract that's expired, is there continuing to work?
Great question, and so after this happened, I did a review to make sure that I understood who the contract managers, if you will, among my staff are. And we don't really have a lot of this kind of thing. So I feel like I have a better handle on it, but just met with my management team and let them understand that, you know, as the contract managers, they are responsible for knowing when the contract is up. And that when a contract is up, the services need to stop unless that contract explicitly says otherwise, which this contract did. Some contracts say, you know, while we're waiting for a new contract, we'll just go by the old. What works to that effect. This contract didn't say that. It was just sort of a practice on behalf of the department. I suspect we weren't the only department that kind of operates that way. That it was just like, well, we'll just keep going until we get a new contract. We can't really do that. I don't recommend that we do that. So as soon as I found out, I said, oh, stop. You have to tell them to stop. But I have done a review to make sure that I don't have to sit here in another contract situation, fall my sword again.
Do you have a vendor
Place.
management system, kind of following up on?
Do
You have a vendor management system.
I, not per se, not, you know, not something like, as a part of our asset management system. Nothing normal.
Okay, I think that would be a good thing to have. I mean, we're talking about a lot of money, and
Right.
it is hard to believe that, you know, that the contract expired and it went unnoticed. Councilman Sanchez.
Another quick follow-up, thank you. So just to confirm, the contract that's in place now is with the same vendor?
Yes,
And when was that dated to start, or when did it start?
don't have that in front of me, but it was, I think it was awarded in August, but no, it was awarded in. Probably the end of August, I gave you the date in,
What was that?
I think it was the end of August.
So I just want to confirm that, make sure that, you know, if we approve this, it looks like the last date of work was August 7th. I don't want
Yes.
the new contract to go back to August 1st, so.
It doesn't. It doesn't, and I know this because I asked that question about you know, after we got past the point of, awarding the contract to him, to their company, when did those payments start? And they did start before August 7th. That's why I'm thinking it was probably around the end of August, maybe in September. I'd have to get the date if you want, but, I understand what you're asking and I checked.
Can you please send out for the distribution to the committee members?
The date of the new contract?
The contract
Sure.
date, and I'd like to see the new contract.
Yeah.
Councilman Grant.
Did this go up to bid?
Yes,
And they were the lowest?
no.
Okay. So,
The other bidder, was deemed to not be as qualified as this.
and while they were doing it, were we charging the same amount? Did it go up? Did anything change with the price?
With his price from the old contract, with it, I don't wanna answer without them both being in front of me, because I don't wanna be incorrect, but I will find out these.
Madam Auditor,
I just would like to understand what not as qualified is. Once you're qualified, you're qualified. The ordinance states the lowest qualified bidder. You don't get to choose who's better
Sure.
than anyone. Once you're qualified, you're qualified. Once you reach that threshold of being qualified, you're qualified. You don't get to select someone just because it's easier. Qualified, qualified. That's, I can go on to one other question.
please.
Did this vendor charge me the same rate as they did in the
That's
That's what I just said.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that, I'm sorry.
Okay, without having the two documents in front of me, I'm reluctant. But I'll find, I can get you both.
Will this be charged to the contract that they have been awarded?
No,
This,
great, no. Because it's
Pre-award.
award. It's in the no man's land.
okay. Yeah, I really would feel the board contract and supply would understand that qualified is qualified. You don't get better qualified, you're qualified. It's the lowest qualified bidder, quote unquote.
There was a big protest, which was addressed by the solicitor's office. And so that was handled and.
And our legal exposure is what we pay this vendor at least. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Auditor. Committee members, council members, Chairman Boggs.
Thank you very much. Do you know the price that was given to the city is the same price that he's charging, like, in this case, he's charging $175 per hour, right?
Yes.
Is the same price that he's gonna be charging the next contract?
I don't know the answer to that without the documents both in front of me, but that, so I will find out and I will let you know what,
But-
if his price changed.
With all due respect, Director, if you come to the finance meeting, you should be prepared. You should come here, said, to answer any questions, so that means now I'm thinking twice. I'm thinking that you're in favor of this contractor. That you're going along with his price because what's the lower bidding supposed to be qualified. And anyway, you went and use your power to choose the same vendor from last year.
If I may, Councilman, this is a bill related to services this vendor provided prior to the awarding of the contract. The awarding of the contract to this vendor is not what is before the committee tonight. In fact, there was a motion at the BOCS to require the awarding of the contract to go before the council, and that was voted down at the BOCS. So this is just for services that this company actually has already rendered and performed for the city, that for which he needs to be compensated. It's not to the merits of the awarding of that contract. And that's why I didn't bring the contract with me for the prior contract.
So, are you all set?
One
One
more.
more question, go forth.
Yes, Director, you're right. You are wearing the all month and he's under pressure of the finance. If they approve the 64,000 or not, because you let it go and do work without contract. So he's now in the limbo praying that finance will approve 64,000 for him to get paid, but at the same time, he's getting work. 64,000 plus a new contract for the next fiscal year. And that's is something that doesn't make sense or doesn't balance why wasn't awarded to the lowest bidder when he's not the lowest bidder. That's the
But
question.
again, that is not what's respectfully before the committee. This is for services rendered, which I've been very candid. I was unaware that he was being allowed to continue sweeping at night after the expiration of the contract in July. The minute I found out, I said, stop it, but I couldn't change the fact that he swept a number of wards during that time period and should be compensated for that.
Okay, so thank you for everyone's questioning. This one, disturbs me a bit. I'm not happy that the vendor was not managed, and this happened in the first place. The reality is, work was performed, and the city has a duty and an obligation to make payment. That being said, there was a hiccup here that concerns us, and I think that's been presented. We've asked about a new contract. The new contract has no reference to this period in time. That was a snafu, if you will. Okay, so I want to call on the contract, the new contract before this committee. I want to see it, I want to understand what it is. I think we have a duty and obligation to pay this vendor, unfortunately, but I'm not pleased about this little hiccup. Just, what are your thoughts?
No, I agree with that. And if you don't mind, I
No, Councilwoman Anthony.
great if when we see the contract, if we could hear also like how, what the, as you brought up, Chairwoman, the vendor management system could be like going forward, just to make sure we're not seeing this with any other contracts. Because I don't think this is, not with you, but I think in general, this isn't the first time we've seen this happen, in this committee. Not necessarily with DPW, but with several departments, and so I think our constituents deserve better from how the city is managed and operated, and, we just want to imagine weird from us.
Madam Auditor, thank you, Councilman Henfield.
There is a section in the city charter that does hold city employees accountable when they do not follow the board of contract and supply. This is a large amount, I don't expect that, however, if you ever did it just once, trust me, people will become more accountable for managing their departments.
Okay, thank you, Madam Auditor. I think we need to move this, and, I'm hearing we're not really happy about it at all. We do want to see a vendor management system. If you don't have a system in place, you need to put something in place. This is unacceptable for this amount of money. It's a lot of money. And it's beyond me to believe that it expired and no one noticed. To the auditor's point, I mean, we have project managers that get paid very, very well to manage these contracts, and directors as well, to make sure that the work is done appropriately and the oversight exists in our departments. So with that, I'm going to say, I'd like to make a motion to approve this, but we're not happy about it at all. We are asking for a vendor management system. We want you to come back to us. And we also want you to come back to us with the street sweeping contract, the new one that has been, set up. We want to look at it and understand it. All right. I think bottom line, we all like our streets swept, but we need to be efficient and fiscally responsible in how we're engaging, and managing our vendors. May I have a motion? Motion to approve. Oh,
I make a motion, no, Dad, I make a motion to, approve.
motion made by Councilman Grace to approve. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilman Adcock. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. The matter passes. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, what do we, I'd like to make a motion to, waive the reading. Combine items 3 through 10. And make a motion to continue them. May I have that motion? Is that? Motion made by Councilman Mandel, seconded by Councilman Sanchez, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed, motion carries. There's no further business. May I have a motion to adjourn made by Councilman Mandel, seconded by Councilman Sanchez, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. We're adjourned. Thank you all.